Welcome back to the Occult Detective. I'm your host, Bob Freeman, and today we have an exciting book haul. This will be part one of two. So prepare yourself as we dive into just a strange hodgepodge of things that I picked up here recently. Let's start with a couple of mass market paperbacks. Big fan of Marsh. It's photo finish. This one is a reprint that came out in 1981. I remember when these were floating around when I was a kid. Read a lot of her and just adore her writing. Very like Agatha Christie, that vein. But I just love the atmosphere that she creates. Not the most creative cover, but I felt like revisiting it. A cover that I do adore, and you may have seen me show this off on social media. This is Mary Roberts Reinhardt, episode of The Wandering Knife. And that is very evocative. She also, in that Agatha Christie vein, Reinhardt wrote a lot of Gothic romance also. So I've read a lot of her and never read this one, and really looking forward to it. We've got, Huck Finn Library Edition. I grabbed this simply because, I have multiple copies. I kind of like the artwork presented in this. And library bindings are very solid. So if I ever want to reread this is a very good edition to do so. Also, one of my favorite authors, Jack London, Call of the Wild, and Other Stories. Again, I have this multiple times, but this again is library bound, very solid, easily reread. And again, when I opened this up, I discovered that it is full of photographs from the history of Jack London. And that's worth the price of admission. So, yeah, very thrilled to pick this one up. Poe's Masterpiece of Mystery. So I have many editions of Poe. I kind of like this. It's got a broken hinge. You get that a lot in cheaper editions, which is his world's popular classics. They don't even post what year this came out, but probably I would guess late 40s, early 50s. It's got just everything in it: Pit and Pendulum, Premature Burial, Mask of the Red Death, etc., etc. And it's just a nice little addition to have on the shelf to go along with all the other Poes that I possess. Also grabbed this Idylls of the King. This is Tennyson, of course. Some foxing, but still just a lovely little edition. I'm obsessed with Arthur and that whole mythos, so having another copy of Idylls in this lovely little edition, it's great to have. The Oxford Shakespeare Complete Sonnets and Poems. It's very nice, although it has been bookmarked. It's very nice, just in terrific condition. It was, as you can see, somebody studying it. We have Jack Kerouac, On the Road, The Dharma Bums, and the Subterraneans in this nice little edition. Always good to have Kerouac on your shelf. And another person who always deserves to be there, Kurt Vonnegut, Breakfast of Champions. This is missing the dust jacket, It is a first edition, but that diminishes the value greatly. So this will sit on my shelf and be revisited. As you know, I'm a book buyer and a bookseller. My wife, son, and I, we run a little business called Attic Pages. We sell a little bit of everything. And so it pays to be studious, to know what you have, and so there's a lot more research involved than I think most people think. So knowing the nuts and bolts of a book's history is part and parcel to what we do. And so I did pick up a couple of things to help along that line. How to identify and collect American first editions. This will be an invaluable resource. We also picked up this cool little book. It's Around the World of Famous Authors, and I just love that cover. So essentially what this book does is it takes you around the world, and rather than give you some kind of postcard description of the location, they have found authors' descriptions of these famous places. Descriptions are fabulous, and so it's a way to learn the world through the eyes of famous authors. We also picked up The Literary Life by Phelps and Dean, and this is missing its dust jacket, as it's wont to do. Essentially, it will give you the top books in fiction, verse and drama, nonfiction, in Great Britain and the United States. Tremendous volume for knowing what was popular, and the book begins from 1900 to 1950. So it is not pulp oriented, but pop oriented, if you will. So still an interesting book. Picked up a copy of Gnomes, and I have been in love with this book since it first came out in the mid-70s, and never owned a copy, but every time I was at a bookstore, I always picked it up and gave it a look, because it is magnificent. Just terrific art, and the folklore involved really captures the imagination, and again, just the artwork is lovely stuff. Speaking of lovely stuff, this next book by Jim Fitzpatrick, heavily inspired, I would say, by Barry Windsor Smith. This is the Book of Conquests. Another late 70s volume. It's a heroic fantasy, sword and sorcery, if you will, but lavishly illustrated. Just a terrific book. And I would just consider myself extremely lucky that we stumbled upon it. You can see the Barry Windsor Smith influence in this gentleman's art. Lovely stuff. And there you have it. We've come to the end of the first part of the Mammoth book haul, and I'm not going to show everything. How could I? But I will enjoy showing you these choice items. So that is all I'm going to have for you today. If you need me, I'll be in the shadows.